Hi everyone. My county in Pennsylvania is still in lockdown, so I'm continuing my at-home design series, taking flowers from my yard and doing some kind of a design. One thing I don't feel I've given enough due to is processing. When you buy flowers at a florist, they already have spent time processing. They've stripped the leaves off of them, they put them in water for a long time, and they're ready to go when you get them. When you get them out of your yard, you really have to spend some time processing. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. This is a Viburnum, and you can tell it's very leafy and it's got a woody stem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my snips and remove almost all of these leaves. Leaves take up moisture, so you want to remove them, and with hydrangeas, this is especially important. I'm not going to remove every single leaf because the leaves are really kind of pretty, but you can tell when you have a problem and your flower starts to wilt. If you take the leaves off, more leaves off, you'll have better luck. So this is looking pretty good now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the stem on an angle like I do with all flowers. And then I'm going to cut up the stem. Turn it 45 degrees and cut up again. With non-woody stems, you don't need to do the cutting up. You just cut across the bottom of the stem to get them to drink. Now I put them in a lukewarm water, and if I have flower food, I will put that in. But if I don't have flower food, I don't worry about it. We don't use flower food at Winterthur. I am going to use flowers all from my yard, and what I did is I just went out, I believe on Monday, and I just saw what was blooming and what might work in this arrangement. I may or may not use all these flowers in my arrangement. So you saw the Viburnum I just cut. This is a really great bulb. It's called Fritillaria, and it's, sits up like that, but you really have to appreciate looking underneath it to see the flowers to it. They're very beautiful. I'm going to use Sweet William. And Sweet William, even not in bloom, has this fun, just puffy texture. This is a native honeysuckle. It's a little orangey red. I may not use that. I had my bleeding hearts rebloom. They got hit by the frost and died. Just the flowers died back on them, but they rebloomed. Hosta leaf. Lamb's ear, it's just soft and fuzzy. This is a great landscape plant. It's called Amsonia. So I have a lot of this in my yard. Its bloom is not exactly oin in the landscape. It's just like little blue guys. These haven't bloomed out quite yet, but it's still pretty. But the leaves are really what in the landscape. It's really great. And during the summertime, I use these leaves a lot for flower arrangements. This is called Penstemon. This is not bloomed, but it has this great dark foliage. And one of my favorite landscape plants is Nepeta, or catmint. And it's got grayish blue foliage with this beautiful purple flower that pops up out of it. And I was in the yard and I saw these grasses in my beds, a weed. But I just thought they had great movement and were fun. So I'm going to be using those. H.F. DuPont used to use weeds. So don't feel like they're below your designing. Weeds can be a lot of fun. So I've got that weed and a weed I absolutely hate, which is ground ivy. It gets all over the place. But it's got this great form. It's kind of twirling, trailing. And I hate it so much, so it gave me great satisfaction to pull it out of my yard, and then now you'd be using it in an arrangement. The arrangement I'm going to use today, I call a high-low arrangement. So some of the material is going to be way up high, and then most of it's going to be real down low. I'm going to use this container which I believe is a vegetable boat. It's came out of a box that was my mother's, and it's just a great color and it's a great shape, but there is an issue with this in that it's so shallow. And I'm going to use something that I love designing with. These are fairly new. This is called a pillow, plastic pillow. You can get these at the Winterthur online store, which is winterthurstore.com. And they come in a 2-pack, and they come like this. They come separate. And you can use just one of them, or you can put them together like a clamshell and click them together. This is great for all kinds of arrangements. I use them in cylinder arrangements, I use them in rose vases, but this is going to be great for me in this arrangement because this vase is so shallow that I need something fairly rigid to hold the flowers in. There were a couple of floral tricks that I used making this arrangement. One of those was greening up first. So I put all the foliage into the arrangement to begin with, and that helps hold the other stems in because of this is such a shallow bowl. And one of the other things that happened while I was arranging was one of the stems fell over, so it wasn't able to stay in place. So I took another little piece of green and stuffed it in next to the stem of flowers to hold that. And another thing I did was I used the grasses in mass. So instead of using one grass here or there, I took 4 or 5 stems and put them in to the arrangement, all in one place. I hope you find the inspiration to go out and look in your yard, see what you might have for flowers, and try something like this. I would love to see pictures of it.